As we go into this portion of the workshop, it's going to be a little touchy for some. Please understand that in no way is it meant to offend, but in order for us to learn, we must be transparent and honest at all times. So, in this section, the first thing we're going to talk about is for those of us who have experienced sexual trauma, sexual abuse, rape, molestation, you are not damaged goods. So many times when it's spoken about in society, it's spoken like because you were touched or because you experienced whatever you experienced, that no man will ever want you, that you will not be good enough, that you are damaged, unwanted goods. But that is far from the truth. We all go through some type of trauma, pain, or experience. We learn lessons from the things that we go through. We learn how to overcome pain. We learn how to overcome adversity. But we are not damaged goods. At times, we just need a little more healing than at other times. But we are not rendered unable to be married or to be loved or to be able to love. So, for those of us in that standpoint, we look at ourselves, we look at sex, we look at intimacy sometimes a little different than people who have never experienced that. A lot of times in our waiting period, we are in the waiting period because we are going to or need to be going to through the healing process. The understanding that you're not a damaged good, the understanding that you're still beautiful, the understanding that everybody that sees you does not know your issue. There's not a sign on your forehead or your chest or your back saying, hey, I was raped, I was molested, anything of that nature. So when we're dealing with these things, we have to understand that things happen, we go through the experience, but we only remain damaged as long as we allow ourselves to remain damaged. What? Tell me here in a second.
Okay.
Excuse me. So when dealing with these traumas, we first have to identify with the fact that no matter what we had on, no matter where we were going, no matter how much we had to drink, no matter how much we had to smoke, whatever the situation, it is not our fault. In all things, we may want to question our decisions and make different decisions than we did before when we found ourselves in a situation. But we have to understand that someone else causing us harm is not our fault. We can't automatically blame ourselves and hold ourselves responsible. So the first thing we have to do is forgive ourselves. That's the first part of the healing process. Because even though we may not think we blame ourselves, when we sit down and we write out our list of things that bother us, you may find that one of them is you blame yourself for the things that happened to you, even as a small child. Why me? What did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? Were my shorts too short? Was my bra not holding me in. What did I have cleavage cut in my blouse? Did I have on a crop top in my belly? Sick people do sick things. We are not to blame for someone else's actions. Going forward, we may not take the detour. We may not ride alone. We may be more covered. But that's the reaction to what happened. We have to understand that the body has healed, but the mind still has not. And we have to face that. We have to face that situation. We have to face, maybe not physically, the attacker, but we have to mentally kind of go back there and deal with what has happened so that we can let it go. Many times we have issues sexually in our relationships because of things that have happened to us in our past. Our husband then moves a certain way, or our suitor trying to get to know us to become a husband move a certain way. We go into defense. We go into lockdown. We go into our shell and hide. We may not really understand why we do it or that we're doing it, but we do. And then because they don't know our background, they don't know the story behind it, they feel a sense of rejection. We have to find balance, even if it requires counseling. If you don't want to go to counseling in the church that you attend, you may want to go to an actual therapist or a counselor. Whichever the situation is 100% fine. But we have to get over the situation. We have to regain ourselves. We have to understand that we are not damaged. Some of us are shy to show our body to our husband or to interact with our husband because we think we're damaged. We may be introverted and shy to even speaking to men at all, which will definitely hinder the marriage process because we think everyone looking at us is looking at us like we're dirty or we're loose or things of that nature. But we have to allow our self healing. So we have to forgive ourselves for whatever part we think that we play in this. Children being touched is not the child's fault. What in the world can a child do to make someone want to sexually? Children don't have any knowledge of that. Children are just children trying to do what they do. When someone sneaks in their room at night, it is not their fault. So we have to deal with that. So at this right now, I recommend that after this particular portion, you take a break, you go before the Most High, and you give it all to Him, every bit of it. Take this. Heavenly Father, take this. Remove this burden from me. Break the ties that bind me to this pain. Tear down the strongholds in my mind that keep looping me back into this cycle of pain. Heal me, Father, inside and out. Allow me to forgive me. Allow me to understand that this was not my fault. Give me the strength to forgive my rapist, abductor, abuser, molester, that they would not have a bind on me anymore, that they would not have dominion over me anymore, that they are not ruling me from a distance because the fear that they instilled still resides in me. Bind the spirit of fear and cast it away from me. Oh, Heavenly Father, loose me from this burden. As you begin to release, cry, yell, scream, however you deal with it is 100% your business. There is nobody to determine whether this is right or this is wrong. But as you go through the process, let yourself be loosed and set free. Let the Father cleanse you with his hyssop. Let him cleanse you. Let him heal you and make you whole again. In your downtime, go back to Psalms 51 and read it. The Father desires to clean us and make us whole. We just have to let him. So while we're in the process of waiting, we need to heal that broken little girl. Because as we're going to discuss in the next session, sex is important in a marriage. Thank you for tuning in. I am Precious Swain Peaks, overseer of New Visions Ministries of Florida. I pray that the Father keep and protect. Clear the scales from your eyes and the plugs from your ears, that you may hear his voice and that you may seek his face. Until the next session, have a great day.